What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Coach Carl. Mr. 57 is the new 27, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about how this boxing thing started. How the whole thing got started. Was I getting beat up in school? Was I getting chased down the street? Did I happen to stumble up in a gym like the Karate Kid? I mean, how the whole thing get started? Let's talk about that. I was around this neighborhood where I grew up in. The neighborhood was Newport News, Virginia, and the school was M.B. Clark. It was a little, I think it used to be an elementary school, and it was they had a basketball court behind the school, and I used to go out there all the time, and we sit on the curb, and the young guys would always wait for the older guys to finish their run, and then the young guys could get their run. And in the process of that, there was a guy that was over there in the corner, and he was just shadowboxing. He was just throwing his punches and moving them around. He was just shadowboxing. And so one of the other older guys said, man, you always over here boxing and throwing punches at the air. Why don't you go throw some punches at that young boy over there? I bet you won't get away with throwing them at him. He be done kicked you in your face. And so he was talking about me. And so, because everybody knew I had been in karate for multiple years. And so when he came over there, he said, hey man, how you doing? I said, what's good, dog? He said, you know karate? I was like, yeah. He said, in karate, what kind of punches do y'all throw? You know, do they teach y'all boxing punches, or do they do reverse punches and all that kind of stuff? I said, well, mainly, man, we just punch. If we know how to punch, we just straight punch. And in karate, you throw punches like this. And so he was like, let me show you something. He said, stand up for a second. So I stood up. He held his hands like this, and he was like, all right, give me a fighting stance. So I gave him a fighting stance. And he said, throw a jab out. So I was like, pop, pop. And then he was like, throw a right hand. I was like, pop. Then he said, speed it up. And I was like, pop, pop. Then he said, you know how to throw a hook? And I was throwing hooks like this. He said, nah, hold your hand here, turn your body, throw your hook, right? Bang, just like that. Bang. He said, twist your body. Bang. So he's like, throw 1, 2, then throw a hook. So it's ha, ha, ha. So I was like, okay, cool. He had me throw a couple of shots. I'm moving around. I'm throwing shots at him. I'm just going bang, bang, just like that. Ha, ha, ha. Hook. Ha. He was like, okay. He said, so I want you to breathe every time you throw a punch. So I did that. And then before I knew it, I was getting a lesson. I was like, this guy's giving me a whole lesson, and I like it. He said, listen, what you doing tomorrow? I said, I ain't doing nothing about this time right here. He said, okay, when you get out of school and you get situated, come on through and I'm gonna work with you some more. So he gave me a pair of bag gloves, little thin bag gloves. They used to have the weights to go across the palm. They were red, and he would always hold his hands up because he said I hit too hard, I needed bag gloves. So I was throwing punches at him. He was blocking my punches and showing me how to move, and then he started showing me how to block. He said, what kind of blocks y'all do in karate? And I was showing him the cross blocks and whatnot, and the high blocks, and he's like, okay, we're gonna mix that. We're gonna put it here. We're gonna put it here. We're gonna use this. We're gonna do all of that. And I was like, okay, cool. He said, y'all block down kicks like this. So we're gonna block punches like that. Bang, 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 bang. It's called parrying. Now, you gotta remember now, I was 15 years old. So I had been in karate since I was like earlier in life, like the 7s and 8s. And so I had multiple years, and I only knew things one way. So this guy was teaching me a whole nother system. And I like to learn. And so, you know, I come around there every single day. Every day I came around there, and every day he showed me something different. He showed me stepping and punching. He showed me moving and how to stay in position and move, and how to make people miss you with punches and whatnot. And then one day I came around the way. I came around there and I was gung-ho. I came around there, had my little lesson in my head. I wanted to learn stuff that he was going to teach me. And I sat outside on the curve, and it got to 3:45, and I ain't seen him. Then it got to 4 o'clock, and I ain't seen him. So I knew where he lived at. Even though I never went to his house to get him, he would always be at the field, at the courts. So I goes and knocks on his next door neighbor's door, and I said, yo, man, you seen Ronnie? He was like, you talking about Snake? I said, yeah. He said, he got locked up. I said, huh? He said, yeah, he got locked up. I said, for what? He said, I don't know, man. He said, but you can call down to the Newport News City Jail and see if you can get to see him. So I called down there, and I had to put my name on a list, and they tell me what day according to the alphabets, I guess, what day I could come see him. So I came to see him, and I sat down in a little booth thing, and he came and he sat down, he picked up the phone, I picked up the phone, we started talking. He was like, yo, I was like, yo, what's up, man? I said, dude, I came on the way looking for you, man. They told me that you was locked up. And he's like, yeah, probation violation. I think he wasn't supposed to drink or smoke anything at the time. I think he got caught drinking. And so probation violation, put him back in lockup for a couple of more months or whatever. And so he says, listen, you good at what you're doing. He says, listen, I don't want you to waste it. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to go down to the gym that's in Newport News on Jefferson Avenue called the Moton and ask for Brother Abdul Muhammad. I said, okay, cool. So I goes down to the gym. The next afternoon, I drove down there and I pulled up and I went inside and I said, there was a lot of guys sitting around. Some guys was doing pad work, bag work, whatever. And I walked up to another older guy and I said, excuse me, can you tell me where to find Abdul? He said, he's that older guy sitting over in the corner. So I goes over there and I say, excuse me, how you doing, sir? I said, my name is Carl Parker and I was sent here to see you. He said, who sent you? I said, Snake. He said, Snake sent you? He said, he stood up. He said, let me see your stance. So I went like this. He said, let me see you throw a jab. And I was like, bang, bang. He said, let me see you throw a right hand. Bang. He said, hook. I was like, pap. He was like, uppercut. Ah. He was like, okay, Snake sent you. He said, go over there and get dressed and let's get ready to start working. I said, but how much is it and what time is it? He said, you don't have to worry about that. I said, but I'm going to need you to do me a favor because we don't have a lot of guys in here that can teach. So I'm going to need you to box and teach. So when I give you some people, it's going to be some guys that come in after you that don't know as much as you know, and you can just kind of get them up to speed so I could work with them. I was like, cool, sound like a bet. And that's how the whole thing got started. I became more of a boxer instructor. I couldn't even spar nobody without saying, dude, don't hold your hands like that. You allow me to do this, that, and the third. Don't swing like that. You allow me to block it and counter. You allow me to block it and counter. Don't do that. Let me show you a better way to do it. I made better sparring partners for me and made better fighters out of them. So that's how the whole thing got started. So with that being said, now you got some history on your boy, Coach Carl. Once again, I'd like to thank y'all for taking the time out to log into my page and seeing what all the fuss is about. But I got to get to work because as you can tell, today is hand building day. Ain't no boxing gloves today, just bag gloves. Don't want to take the skin off my knuckles. I want people to think I've been out here fighting in the street. But this bag, he about to get it. So with that being said, I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side because right about now, your boy is out.